back to the One in a Million channel. My name is Eunice, and today we have something super sassy to talk about. My gosh, I'm feeling this energy and I'm feeling this energy hot right now. And today I want to talk about people who are in your life who try to ask for a reasoning and for your justification for all your life decisions, and you always feeling like you need to explain yourself to help them understand. Probably being misunderstood is a very big theme in your life. I know this was the case for me. It was very hard. It was very hard to grow up in an environment where I feel like people just didn't get me and people don't love me for who I really am, and I can't really show my true colors, and I just really can't be myself. And it's really hard. Every single time I try to explain myself, or this is why I chose the thing that I did, this is why I live the way I do, this is why I chose these friends, this is why I made this career choice, this is why I moved to this city, this is why I married this person, like all these things, people will always want to know why you did the thing you did, and they will always be very eager to advise you and try to understand you, and then they will ask you why, and then at the same time they will always try to convince you why you didn't make a good decision, and you'll always find yourself stuck in a place where like it feels like it doesn't matter how much I try to explain myself, and it doesn't matter like how much I try to illustrate like these are the reasons, nothing helps. Nothing helps. I've moved beyond that part, and I've really come to understand that people ask us why we've made certain life choices really for only two reasons. The first reason is because they truly just genuinely want to understand us, and they love us, and they really want to understand, they want to see things from our eyes, and they really have that genuine curiosity, like to get to know, you know, what are our intentions. So that's reason number one. The second reason people ask us like why we do the things we do and why we did the things we did and live the way we do is because they want to hear our reasoning just so they can tell us their own reasoning of why we're not making the right decisions. And I find that for people who have spent their entire lives feeling misunderstood, usually they're surrounded by the second type of people, the people who ask the second type of questions, which is, I really don't have any desire to understand you, but I just want to tell you why you're not, why your options and choices and decisions are not wise. And here are all the reasons why you should change your mind. And so you're oftentimes stuck in a place where you feel like, oh, if I just explain myself harder and if I just try to find other ways to explain myself, then maybe that person would understand. Or if I just try to like repeat myself, then that person would understand. Or if I took another opportunity to like talk to this person, like if we could just talk it out, then they would understand. But this is a cyclical pattern that has occurred over and over again in your life, and you could not understand why in the world like you keep finding yourself in situations and relationships where you have to explain and over explain yourself. Like if you find yourself telling them, I've told you already, I've told you a million times, we've talked about this, then you are in this place. What I've come to realize is that when people do not actually have a desire to understand us, they won't. And it doesn't matter how many times we try to explain ourselves, they will not say, oh, I have spent the past 3 years not listening to you. So why don't you tell me how you're feeling now so that we could scratch all of that and I can start attentively listening to you and start really understanding what you have to say. Usually it doesn't happen like that. For people who do not have an intention to understand us, they don't have a desire to understand us, I've come to realize that yes, I can still have a relationship with them. I can still have them in our lives. It doesn't mean that if you don't understand me, then I'm going to kick you out of my life. No, that's not the case. I still have a lot of people in my life who do not completely understand me, who do not get me, and that is fine. I love those people with my dear heart, but at the same time, I have to set up some boundaries and I have to protect my energy. So, what I do is that I started practicing allowing myself to do things just because. I realized that when we justify ourselves to people and over explain ourselves to people and we try to help people understand like our life decisions, a lot of times we do the same for ourselves. So a lot of times it shows up in the places where I'll tell myself I I am allowed to take a rest. Oh, because I have worked hard enough. I am allowed to go see my friends. Oh, because I haven't seen them in like 3 weeks. I'm allowed to take a long break because I've worked really hard and I'm really, really tired. I'm allowed to watch this TV show, oh, because I've starved myself from the media for like 2 weeks. So there's all these like different justifications where I feel like I have to come up with something reasonable to tell myself in order to allow myself to do something. And so of course this is reflecting in my other like my outside external relationships with other people because this is how I treat myself. So I don't allow myself to do something just because I want to. Why do I need to take a bubble bath? Just because. Why do I need to take a break? Just because. Why do I want to go out for a walk? Just because. Why do I want to have cake? Just because. It doesn't have to be someone's birthday. Doesn't mean that I have to celebrate something. Doesn't mean that I have to have any like particular reasons to justify having a cake. Just because I want to. So, once I started embodying this in my life and I started allowing myself to do things just because, and of course, this is with reasonable accountability and self responsibility and self leadership in my life. This is still aligned to the things that I want. It doesn't mean that I go like 24/7 eating cake in breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Like, I still make choices that are aligned to what I want, who I am, and not hurting anyone in the world so that, these are very responsible choices. But I allow myself to do them just because I want to, right? And when I started embodying this kind of energy, like I don't have to over explain things to myself or in order to earn it or in order to deserve it, I started being able to tell other people, this is what I want just because. This is what I want just because. This is what I did just because I wanted to do it. This is how I live just because this is how I want to live. Um, this is where I live just because this is where I want to live. And this is so empowering when we're able to stand in the power of telling people that I don't need to over explain things to you. And I don't even need to explain like that. I don't need to explain things to you. Like, I don't need to say that. I can just tell them and leave it there. just because just because I want to. There's so much power in it because it shows and reflects that, first of all, you're your priority, right? Just because I want to. And secondly, you're allowed to do things based on your own choices and that you don't owe anyone an explanation. Not because it's the wise thing to do, not because it has to be justifiable, not because there are all these like pros that I have listed on a note paper, just because I want to. And start really practicing that with yourself and with the people that are always asking for reasons from you. Now, one thing that I would say, and I think this is not even the hardest part. The hardest part really comes when we say that and we leave it there. And there is that itch, you guys. There is that discomfort between the moment where you say, because I want to the moment where someone tries to break the silence, like they're expecting, like, okay, just because They're expecting more coming from you. And when there's no more coming from you, between that gap, there is so much discomfort. I'm going to challenge you to see how long you can hold it, to see how long you can be in this energy of just because I want to. Because this is going to represent the space that you're able to hold for you owning what you want. Oftentimes, when we are on the side of like, we're so used to explaining things to people, we're so used to over justifying ourselves and coming up with all the right reasons so that people will agree with our decisions. A lot of times we will rush to give them the reason that they want to hear. And oftentimes I find that we have that itch. We have that desire to just like remove that discomfort, remove that silence, and just simply just give them exactly what they want to hear. But what I really want to say is allow yourself to be in this energy, to own this energy, to practice this in your life so that you can really fully liberate yourself to have what you want without feeling like you need a whole long list of reasons to believe that you deserve it. So I hope that this was helpful for you and helpful for you and your close relationships with the people that you love. And I hope that this is also uplifting for the dynamic that you currently have with those people as well. So let me know what you think about this topic. I would love to hear from you. As always, take care, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video.